Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/Am I the Devil, where OP is actively plotting to steal her married friend's husband. Our next post comes from Rude Intern 6550. I regret every second I cheated on my wife. I cheated on my wife last summer. I was spiraling in depression for years, and towards the end, I started blaming everything on my loved ones, including my wife. My colleague was there for me. She was understanding and warm. She cared. The guilt was crippling me, and I told my wife. I think she was in shock at first, but when it was over, she told me it was over between us. She never shed a single tear, or yelled, or even begged. We have 2 daughters together. My colleague, like everyone but me could see, had lost all interest in me gradually, and about 2 weeks ago, she broke things off. I dropped off the girls at their mother's on Sunday. It was the first time I didn't celebrate Christmas with them. My wife looked happy and content. I just realized she was the bright light in my depression, and always had been, and yet I blamed her for everything I was going through because I liked the attention from someone else. My wife asked how I was because I looked depressed. I couldn't tell her anything, just that I was fine, but it felt weird that this was the first Christmas I was spending alone. I told her that my relationship was over. Her expression didn't change. She didn't even look like she was gloating. She just simply said, "Well, you could always tell her that we're back together if you want a relationship with her." I was taken aback by how calm and how sure she sounded. When I got home, I tried it. Not because I wanted anything to do with my colleague. I was just curious why my wife would believe that. Since then, my colleague has been sending me tons of texts, warm and flirtatious, asking me if I missed her and if I had time to meet up. I really threw away my life for this. It really surprises me that OP really doesn't see anything wrong with what he did. First, he cheated on his wife. Then he goes back and texts the girl after the wife told him to. Like, dude, that wasn't advice from your wife. That was probably a sarcastic jab, but it just goes to show you what a terrible person OP is. And he's getting, honestly, exactly what he deserves. No one feels bad for you, OP. You did this to yourself. Our next post comes from Deleted. I, a 43-year-old male, have been married for 11 years to my wife, a 42-year-old female, and I met someone else, a 43-year-old female. What can I do about this situation? I, a 43-year-old male, love my wife, a 42-year-old female, of 11 years. I met someone else, a 43-year-old female, that I think I'm falling in love with. How do I get out of this situation? Clearly, this account is a throwaway. I met someone a month ago, and we have been talking every single day. She is nice, considerate, tells me things I enjoy hearing. I had been sad and depressed before, lonely before meeting her, and now I feel happy every day. My wife is nice, though not as considerate. Doesn't really tell me things that I want to hear. I know that sounds dumb. If I told my wife a month ago I'm interested in an open relationship, I think she would have been open to that. The new girl, though, would not be open to a non-monogamous relationship, so that doesn't really matter. I told the new girl that I'm separated from my wife and divorcing her soon, so I'm currently lying to both of them because I'm not separated, though I've considered divorce. I'm lying to my wife now by omission and about why I'm checking my phone so often. I love my wife, but there are many things that I don't like about her. My wife rarely leaves the house and doesn't like when I leave the house, so getting out to meet the new girl has been very difficult. I don't even know if I actually really like the new girl, or if I just like sneaking around in the fear of getting caught. I know I should just stop talking to the new girl and tell my wife my feelings. What are the actual options here? Tell both of them what's going on? Tell neither? Stop talking to the new girl? Leave my wife for the new girl? All of these options sound terrible. I need someone to tell me how dumb all of this is and what I could realistically do. This guy has got to be one of the most out of touch people from reality I have ever read. Neither of these people deserve to be played by a UOP. Both of them deserve better. Tell both of them so both of them can leave you. I think that's the only good option here. Our next post comes from Prudent Rent 6650, where she writes, I'm obsessed with my married friend. We both work hectic full-time jobs in tech and are part-time grad students, taking classes 3 evenings a week. We're in the same friend group in our program, and we usually all meet one other time a week to study together and or grab dinner. He's been with his wife since before starting grad school, and he proposed to her during our first summer break. They also got married a few months ago, and she's also pregnant with their first child. Whenever our friend group goes out for dinner or drinks, he brings her along. So I have met her a few times, and she's really shy and introverted, but also beautiful, and it's obvious that she loves him a ton. Sometimes he picks me up from my office on the way to class since it's on the way for him. For the first 2 years of the program, I knew I found him attractive and incredibly smart, but I respected that he was in a relationship. But something changed this past semester, and I can't stop fantasizing about him. When we're with our group studying, I need to be sitting beside him. I absolutely love the car rides on the way to class. I cringe whenever someone brings up his wife or unborn child, and I felt a huge wave of anger and jealousy when we were all out at dinner a few weeks ago and he gave her a small peck. I've been fighting off the urge to make a move, but I really want to just make a pass and let the dominoes fall in place, and as our last semester is coming up, I need to do something sooner than later. I don't really care about his wife, and if anything, she's just an obstacle in my way. Deep down, I know I could offer him more. His wife and I are similar in personality, but she stays home and doesn't work, while I make over 6 figures, and it just makes more sense for us to be a couple, rather than him and his wife. I can't stop thinking about it and having him all to myself, and I just need to get this out. I think this top comment from Temporary Agency 599 is exactly what I was thinking. You need to take a step back, a far step back. First off, you don't know anything about his relationship and if you are the right person for him. This is a fantasy you're building in your mind on your own. Second, they are having a baby and will be a family. That baby deserves to come into a happy home, so why are you trying to mess with that? Third, I really hope this is a troll. I really hope this is a troll too. Anyone that can be that delusional is not right and needs some serious help. Our next post comes from Infinite Equal 3959. Am I the butthole for bringing my dog to Christmas? For Christmas this year, my oldest daughter, 35, Kara, and her husband, 35, had agreed to host Christmas. I admit that my wife, Emily, who's 62, put a bit of pressure on them to be the ones to host, as my younger daughter, who's 27, wanted us all to be able to have a relaxed time together for once. My older daughter had hosted before a few years ago, but not since they had their third child. She could have said no when we asked her to host. It was her decision. Ugh, I can already hear the entitlement coming out of this post. Anyway, our dog Sammy is very old. We don't like to leave him alone at all. I assumed it would be fine for him to come to their house as well since he has been there once before. Then I mentioned it yesterday to Kara. Kara said that Sammy couldn't come. She said it wasn't fair on their cats to have a dog in the house all day. She asked if Sammy could go to our neighbors as he often goes there. The neighbors did say yes, but then I found out that they were planning on having a roaring fire all Christmas Day, and Sammy is scared of their fire. So I decided to bring Sammy to my daughter's house anyway. My wife did text her to say that we were bringing Sammy, so it wasn't like it was a surprise. Kara was really frosty about it, even though Sammy has actually been in the house once before when I dropped in during a rainstorm. She insisted on him staying in the den to be away from the cats. Since it would be unfair to leave Sammy on his own somewhere unfamiliar, we all then had to spend all Christmas Day in this cramped den. It seemed really, really petty of her. One of the cats managed to get in later and Sammy chased it. My son-in-law fell over trying to stop Sammy and a wine bottle was smashed. I pointed out that this wouldn't have happened if we hadn't all been so cramped in the den. Kara then snapped that it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't made them host and then brought the dog against her wishes. I feel like she was just trying to be spiteful because she hadn't wanted to host, and it was ridiculous of her to take it out on a dog and spoil the whole day for the family. My wife and younger daughter both agree with me, but my son-in-law has sent a message saying that Kara's really upset and really angry over this whole situation. Am I really the butthole? Yes, OP, you are a major, major butthole for this. like 7 out of 10 buttholes for this. If this were your house when you were growing up, you would have told your children, your house, your rules. I get it, it's your dog and it's old, and I have 3 dogs myself and I love them to death and I try to take them anywhere I go. But if someone tells you that you can't take your dog there, the answer isn't to bring your dog anyway. The answer is to maybe limit your time there and go home a little bit sooner, because at the end of the day, it's not your house. You don't make the rules. You're really lucky that she didn't refuse you at the door, because if you were my parents and you did that, I would tell you to go home, just for the pure fact of not respecting my house and my rules as an adult. That was r/am I the devil, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe as we post new Reddit videos almost every single day.